questions like just now, so apologies if this is really shit. I'm sure.
We're doing two different
two interviews as well, yeah.
Well, I've known that I'm going to be interviewed all day, and I think my answer's shit. It's fine.
I'll give you a 2-minute and a 1-minute warning, and while I knock things down.
Okay. All right, we'll just give it a shot. See what
Let's
happens.
go for it.
Cool. Well, I'm going to begin by asking a really easy question. What was it that attracted you to getting involved in this particular project?
I loved that it was about books. I loved that Mike Newell was directing. And Elizabeth's so vivid and flawed and wild. And yet she's mentioned all the way through the film, but you only see her for a very short amount of time. I thought that was going to be really interesting to develop a character that has to burn through and yet actually doesn't have that much screen time. It's a kind of, that was a challenge, you've got to leave an impression. But you can't make someone a cartoon in order to stand out. It's sort of, very much a supporting role in that way.
Yeah, I guess in some ways, because it'd be, if you are on sort of screen for limited time, you'd almost want to do loads to really show your work. But actually, sometimes less is so much more, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially part of an ensemble and a support, like your job is to support that story. And Elizabeth doesn't know that her life will be a drive for a story, and she doesn't know that her actions will later be looked back at as selfish or frustrating. She's so present and lives very much in that moment. So it just asked me to do the same, really, and not think, about the consequences. That's really freeing, because often, when you are the lead, you are that driving force, and it is your responsibility to kind of scoop everything up and carry it with you. And Elizabeth is just sort of running free, and I found that's really fun to do.
One of the things I loved about this was the kind of spirit of the people. I mean, in the sense that so often when we dive into kind of wartime set stories, it's death and destruction is so prevalent. Whereas in this movie, I felt like it was really about community and hope. Was that one of the things about this particular story that really appealed to you as well?
I definitely think the connection between the society was the thing that really spoke to me. The occupation and everything is very unknown, and I think outside of Guernsey and the Channel Islands, and I think that's really important that's being kind of told. But I think it was the society and the way that people interact with each other, what it is to sit at a table and eat food, and what a privilege that is, and how special it is to be able to talk freely with a group of people and to disagree and agree and still be friends. I think sort of best dinner tables are like that.
When off the back of this, I started getting interested in other quite sort of quirky and unique societies and clubs around England. And you find some, there's like a didgeridoo club every Thursday, and then like ukulele Wednesdays and Scale Electrics meetings and things like that.
Amazing.
I was wondering, what's your sort of passion? If you could join a society or a club, what would you most likely sort of go in for?
Honestly, books. Like, I'm a massive bookworm, so I try and read a book a week. I'm dyslexic, so sometimes big books just take me ages. But I always have one on set with me when I'm filming. I like to cut myself off instantly, sort of as soon as I'm always kind of turning over a book. I was reading A Little Life when I was filming this. So I was like jumping to New York out from Guernsey every time sort of we shouted cut. But honestly, books probably. Or Cheese Club.
That's what I thought. I
just thought about cheese.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget about cheese, and then when I remember it, I feel so happy.
What's your favourite type of cheese?
Wife of Bath.
Oof.
It's a really good cheese.
I like just mozzarella. I'm quite a traditionalist in that regard. And as well, I was going to say, what are you reading at the moment then? What's the current book?
I'm rereading Jane Eyre. I picked up last week. So yeah, that's my book again. Haven't read it since I was 16. It's nice.
So just finally, very quickly, just regardless, I mean, obviously there's always, one of the joys I imagine to being an actor is you get to read so many great books and that you might not necessarily have read because of films, often screenplays are based on books. I mean, this is a real joy, this one. You must have been thrilled when you had the opportunity to read this, if you hadn't already.
Yeah, I hadn't read the book before, so I'd read the screenplay, obviously, and then when I got the part, I read it and I thought, you know, it was so much fun. My nana read it as well, so I really grilled her on what she thought, and I got all her opinions about it before I told her I was doing it. So I was like, I need a real honest opinion. I was like, what do you think of Elizabeth? And that was her favourite character. So I was like, well, good news. So she's really thrilled. She's really excited.
Thank you so much for your time. So much
Thanks
appreciated.
so much, Stefan. Thank you.
Staying.
You're staying.
I just say that because then it makes...